Ah, uh, it says I'm being suppressed. I am being suppressed. I can hear you, but it, ah, there we, I think it's working. You can hear me. Great, thank you. Yeah, okay, those were usually Discord works without a hitch. So I'm good, thank you. How are you, Nuno? Great. Yeah, I have started streaming. Let me double check. It looks like we're showing up. I think most of our users right now are kind of caught up with the drop that we're we're literally doing right now. Like the drop is happening as we're speaking. But I think it's kind of fun timing, right? YouTube, but yeah, yeah. Yeah, and Castles is a yeah, it's weird. I don't think I'm getting audio from you guys. I'm getting audio from me, but I don't know. I guess maybe it'll just be me talking that people can hear on my thing until I can figure it out. But yeah, Castles is a empire building RPG, and I've always wanted basically like a virtual world where you could actually, fight monsters and have it be like this medieval fantasy thing, like World of Warcraft, except you can actually own the assets, you own your gold, you own your buildings, you own your armor, and all of that. So well, we've kind of been building up to this major expansion called Dungeons, and we just released the hero builder a couple of weeks ago, and then we just released battling about a like on Friday, last Friday. So it's been a pretty big couple of days for us. Now our players are in, they're customizing their heroes with all these different pieces and battling monsters, and it's all like a lot of fun. I think people are really in love with it. So you're going to go over what they can do in the dungeons mode? Yeah, so in dungeons you have three different heroes, Caldor, Luna, and Bancroft, and they basically are these individual heroes, and they come with their own different art pieces, and there's 11 different pieces of equipment that you can give them, and and upgrade them all the way from common to mythic. So there's like six different sets for common and three different sets for mythic. But mythic looks amazing. They look like these, gods, like they should once they get up to the mythic level, and really just like battle monsters. And we kind of have this whole tiered system for fragments and stuff like that, and building up building up the heroes. Also inside of dungeons is you can actually be like a monster creator, so you can summon monsters and have people basically fight basically summon the monsters, create the monsters. They can also trade those monsters on places like Atomic Hub. They can go on Atomic Hub and they can sell those monsters and with other users. And let me make sure someone put on. I just wanted to share this with my community, the video. Wanted to kind of give them enough time to do the drop that we're doing right now. But yeah, we have that PvP drop on. If they go to our website, they'll see an ad for it. But yeah, so it's really meaty, really meaty. I mean, I can actually show you guys. We're able to do a share screen thing.
Yeah, 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 100%.
We're
Yeah,
actually looking forward to a little bit of some demos here. So yeah, let's see what's going on.
yeah. I've been
Great.
playing a little bit with the monster expansion or the monster part of the dungeon, and it's definitely really interesting. So the monsters are hero specific as well. You'll have the specific monster to fight the hero that you have, and that will boost your rewards. And again, it's interesting to see how this was all built around the royal seals. It's something that, yeah, we discussed the first time you were around. It's really essential to the health of ecosystem speak, and it's interesting to see how this gave a bit more utility.
Looks like yeah, looks like my computer, I've crashed my computer trying to get it to do too many things at once. Yeah, looks like we have crashed Discord. Sorry guys.
Goes.
Yeah, I think I've officially like tried to do too much with my computer. It was just like nope. It was just like you are trying to do too much. It's a pretty nice Alienware computer, but yeah, I mean it is not the same kind of magic without um
I can share my screen though, and show the game.
sure, okay, let's do that. Let's do that. Share your screen and you
Uh,
can go to the
so we were talking about the heroes and the hero builder.
yeah. So this is the builder. So if you don't have a lot of equipment, you can't, outfit her with a whole lot. But if you see, there's a showroom button there. you can actually go to the showroom and then you can actually start to equip the character with basically whatever you want that has been loaded into our builder so far. So there's 11 different pieces here. That's great. That's great. Yeah, exactly. And then you can also change the colors. So we have 3 different colors for each equipment piece. So 11 different pieces and 3 different colors and 3 different heroes. Basically, you have like a nearly infinite amount of possibilities here for customizing your hero.
Yeah, and then not only do these reflect visually on your hero, but as well, depending on the quality of the equipment, that will also contribute more or less to your stamina points, which then is what allows you to battle monsters. It's the energy that you will need to perform those quests.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so
Uh,
the more equipment that your hero has, the more efficient it is in battling monsters. And so you'll get more bang for your buck essentially the more equipment that you have.
But Robert, where can you get extra equipment for your hero?
So Zeus for getting more equipment for your hero, there's a couple different places. I mean, obviously Atomic Hub Marketplace is a good place. You can go there and buy some. We also have a referral system, so you can buy directly from our referral page. You can share that with other people as well, and you get points and you can get buybacks. But so we do sell some dungeon basically packed straight from our website there under Dungeons and Refer a Friend. But largely for a lot of players, the way they're getting their equipment now is by actually doing the battles. So as you do the battles, you get fragments, and then you can combine those fragments to then create the new pieces. So right now there are existing common, uncommon, and rare heroes. We still haven't released the epic fragments blend yet. I'm basically in the middle of like importing those right now. They're basically done. Like all of our artwork is basically done. We just have to do the work to actually put it onto the mainnet and make those templates. And trying to find the time to do that, you know. And that's probably going to be coming over the next couple of days. Is those epic fragments, and like the epic heroes look really cool. Like as you get higher, they look more amazing. And so those are really the ways to get it. We also have a blacksmith guild where you can actually combine some of the armors together, but only certain people have exclusive access to it, which is people who are holding the Blacksmith Guild NFT. And yes, I mean, if people go on Atomic Hub and they look at all of our schemas that are on there on our marketplace, there's all kinds of really awesome things to buy and play with in castles. And Dungeons is really just like the tip of the iceberg or the latest big expansion. But we have a whole other land mode as well and a free-to-play mode. So for people who just want to get their feet wet in NFT gaming. We found the free-to-play mode's been largely very popular, so I'm bringing a lot of new players. There's kind of a point where we weren't seeing a lot of new players coming in and checking us out, but then we released the free-to-play mode, and now we have new people coming in every day and being like, hey, so how do I play this game? What's it about? And stuff like that.
So it's a really interesting point of entry into the project for sure, and like pretty much no barrier of entry to it. You can just jump right in and get familiar with the ecosystem. As you were saying, there is also the land mode, which pretty much is the base or the foundation around what everything else is built upon. And it's actually interesting. I wanted to touch upon this. You introduced with the monsters a similar system with what the castles do with minting new packs or with minting new lands, and then being dependent as well on the seals, as we mentioned, to be able to do so. Do you want to touch upon the general tokenomics of the project as well, and just explaining a little bit how the seals work and how they're such a pivotal part to your project and its ecosystem?
Sure, yeah. The tokenomics basically works in such a way that Our philosophy is that if you're building assets right now in our game, which are inflationary, we used to have 0 castles in the game. Like the game started with 0 castles, and now we have about 3,000. And we're going to have a soft cap of castles around 5,000. So right now, people are crafting new lands and they're upgrading to castles, and castles are like one of the most valuable assets in the game because they give you what we call royal seals, and royal seals are basically an access to doing all the really cool stuff in the game, like recharging stamina, making new lands, and barons are another asset that actually give you, right now, they give you 1 farm or better a day. And of course, as scarcity continues to increase, they'll start to do different things, because we won't be able to sustain giving you 1 land every day because they'll become so rare. So we might give you like a land shard, or a baron might give you something else. But there's only about 1,200 barons. People seem to love barons a lot, especially because of their scarcity and as one of the first assets in our game. But really, the whole philosophy is that the lands are going to start to become more scarce. The castles are going to start to become more scarce, and the castles making the seals is really the essentially the resource that is used to recharge your heroes, to recharge the monster tomes and summon monsters, and so the same thing with the heroes. As there are more heroes that are being made, as there's more equipment being made, we'll continue to increase the cost to combine your fragments. So whereas today maybe it takes 5 fragments to create a piece of equipment, well then maybe after there's a certain amount, well then it costs maybe 7 or 10 fragments to create a piece of equipment. It takes 30 hero fragments to create a hero of the same rarity, and that will probably, go up as well. It'll, increase. We're still looking at the numbers. Is it going to double exactly? Like, what are the checkpoints? There's kind of a lot on our plate right now, and I usually go in with my business partners, and I'm like, we got to figure this out, that out, this out. Now we got to figure out all these things, and they're like, okay, well, Robert, our list is about the size of Santa Claus is not a nice list. Like maybe we should deal with some of the things in the near term list first, and then we can deal with all the other things. So we kind of have like this whole nice to have list, and right now the nice to have list is getting very big. One of it is figuring out exactly and communicating to the players when the scarcity is going to hit for the heroes with the fragments and things like that. But one of our big things right now is just like fixing a couple of bugs and stuff that are happening with dungeons, and so we're working through those. But yeah, I mean that's really the tokenomics of the game. Is the whole philosophy is whatever assets are inflationary and you can create right now, they will get harder and more expensive to make as time goes on. They will require more assets, and so as the game grows and there are more users, the demand for the old stuff will start to increase. That is basically how we do our economy. So we don't have a scarcity based token right now exactly. Everything's kind of more on this kind of curve of scarcity that we kind of like tune the dials on. But we don't sell any of our tokens to fund development. So like M-Source is not a token. It's basically M-Source is a token that is generated by the lands predominantly, and you can also earn it by playing the free-to-play. But we don't sell that token to basically to make money. It is a game reward token. We reward that to players for certain things like lands, but we don't like take aside a portion of that to resell, and we actually we're not doing that with any of the existing tokens. That's just basically our mantras. If it's a game token and it's intended that people play with it and it's inflationary, then we shouldn't be selling it to fund development because it doesn't make sense. It should be used strictly for the game if it is strictly a game token.
Yeah. And coming on to the Dungeons expansion as well. So you touched upon M-Source a little bit, and similarly to how M-Source works with lands, you have now created another token, which is Treasure Source, which allows users to refresh their heroes so that they can go on to more battles, quests, things of the sort. And again, that added another utility to the Royal Seals. do you want to explain a little bit how users can go about getting some trade source, and as well how they can use that to refresh their hero, and what does that cycle look like?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, Treasure Source is a token that recharges your heroes so they can recharge their stamina and continue to do monster battles. And it also recharges the monster tomes. So when you want to summon monsters and create more monsters, those are some of the NFT monsters at the bottom. Those are monsters that you can craft and basically summon. And that's a monster tome, which creates. Yeah, you're right on the ball there with the clicks. Great work, great work. But yeah, those are the monster tomes. They come in 3 different rarities, but they summon monsters so that you can battle. So when it comes to Treasure Source, when you battle monsters, you can earn a token called Wealth. And we're trying to look at like how do we make it so that people can get the fragments and stuff, but also get kind of particleized earnings. Like what if you don't get a fragment all the time, which is arguably like one of the more valuable things to get. And so to particleize it, we have this thing called wealth, and wealth is basically a resource that you need in order to get treasure source. So in order to create treasure source for making the dungeons work, you need 2 things. You need a royal seal, and you also need wealth. And wealth is a reward from the dungeons and people fighting monsters. We're probably going to have another source of wealth, like a starter hero. We plan to have a starter hero where the starter hero can go, and its main job is mostly to like go and collect wealth. It can also probably get a fragment as well for monster boss battles and things. Basically we have wealth as a way to kind of particleize your earnings so that people who are playing dungeons, even if they don't get a fragment, they still get something. These tokens I really want to be on the marketplace, like on Atomic Hub right now. They're not. I mean, I keep going to the team. I'm like, we're going to get it up there, right? But again, they're kind of like priority list, Robert. Like, getting wealth and treasure source as an ingredient on like the Atomic Hub marketplace is like on our to-do list, pretty high on my list for features to get added. Because if you're in there and you're playing, like, let's say you only have a common hero, you're not playing a whole lot. You're getting maybe 100 wealth to 300 wealth a day. Well, then I want you to be able to go onto the marketplace like Atomic Hub and be able to trade that with players. We're already starting to get people coming into our chat, and they're like, how do I get treasure source? And we're like, oh, you go to Alcor and you go to the exchange and you trade it. And they're like, what's that? How does that work? It's like, so I like putting these things onto the marketplace so that they can also swap them as well. So we're inputting this, input-output swap system that's going to go in soon. But we're really trying to work hard with the dungeon rewards so that it makes sense if you're doing, daily battles or NFT monster battles or boss battles. There are different kinds of rewards, different loot chests. We go to the monster loot. We have 3 different chests. We have daily monsters, NFT monsters, and boss battle monsters. And you get a boss battle after you kill every 15 monsters. But basically, each chest gives you better rewards. And so everybody wants to get the boss battle chest, but you got to work through the daily monsters, the NFT monsters get there.
And again, for these NFT monster rewards, these would be the ones that you would have to buy the monster NFT on the marketplace or open a pack for them, and then battle them. And by battling them, you're also burning them. So again, it's a scarcity inducing system, let's say, where it really drives demand for the monster tomes and for those monster tomes to keep producing monsters. So that
exactly. Yeah, and ultimately we want the rarer the heroes you have, we want to have more cool features for owning those heroes. So that it feels like you're really getting great value for having epic, legendary, and mythic heroes. Some of that stuff is still coming. We have a PvP expansion that's coming out next, but we think that owning the rare heroes, especially like legendary mythic heroes, should be really cool and get you cool stuff.
And to get up to like the higher rarity heroes, you do have to blend to create the more rare heroes. Is that right?
You blend fragments, and the fragments, like here, Nuno has them up here. These are some of the fragments. So they're like rare fragments, uncommon fragments. You do need to combine 30 of these, and it will create a random hero of that, of that, yeah, random hero of that rarity. So you can't just, right now, you can't just take, well, I think we still have a blend available for uncommon heroes. We can take 3 common heroes, turn them into an uncommon hero, but eventually that's going to go away. And we have a lot of people asking us, like, hey, can I just take like, 2 or 3 uncommon heroes and make a rare hero? We had that for a little while just as kind of like a promotional thing, and fun thing for the players, but we don't plan to do that really anymore. We plan to mostly keep it to the fragments.
Okay, so people have to do their like daily battles in order to get the fragments so that they can then build up to the higher rarity.
Yeah,
Nice.
and
Yeah.
the NFT, the NFT monster battles, kind of the way the system is designed, is that if you want to get like the rare heroes, like let's say you have an uncommon hero, and you want to be getting like rare hero fragments, you're most likely going to want to be battling the NFT monsters because that's really where you're going to have that shot. Because I think the daily battles don't actually give you the higher hero fragment, so that means that you're gonna have to rely on the boss battles or the NFT monsters. So there's an incentive there if you do want to get to that next rarity that you want to be battling either NFT monsters or boss battles.
Interesting part of the hero mechanic as well, which I thought was quite curious, is that in terms of the NFT monsters that you're able to battle, you're actually capped at battling monsters which are the same rarity as the hero that you have. So let's say you have an uncommon hero, you'd only be able to set up battles against common or uncommon monsters and not anything of a rarity above that. Yeah, I think again to drive scarcity, and not just to drive scarcity, but to give a bit more meaning as well to these different rarities. I think it's an interesting mechanic. Um, and can you tell us a little bit more of what users can expect if they ever fight against an epic, legendary, or a mythic monster? Like what type of rewards, or what is the scope of a battle of that size, let's say?
Yeah, well, like yeah, we've taken a lot of deliberate thoughtfulness about the way that the monsters work, and a lot of this credit goes to my business partner Josh for kind of figuring out how the rewards will go, and he's taking care of a lot of the math, and he's done a great job with that. And so we decided that it was the way to make it work well is that a common hero can't get like rare fragments because we just thought that really wouldn't be a good way to go. So you have to keep moving up the ladder of monsters and heroes in order to keep getting the higher rarities. So same like ways, like a rare hero doesn't have a chance to get like a legendary fragment. And otherwise, people will just farm forever common monsters and be like, oh, there we go, now I got a legendary, and there's no reason for me to get a legendary hero. Why would I need a legendary hero? That would just kind of break things entirely. So there's been a lot of thoughtfulness about kind of the stage at which it goes. But it's very interesting to see different people using different strategies. We have some people who are like, oh yeah, all I want is like, uncommon heroes, so I can just get like rare equipment and rare heroes, and then they want to sell that on the secondary market. And they just want to be like these uncommon and rare hero farmers, right? Like that's what they want to do. And as I've been looking at it, I'm kind of actually like, I'm less interested now in my common and uncommon heroes. And I'm like, should I sell some of my assets to make sure that I can get the epic and the rare heroes? Because those are the ones I really want, right? I want to get the really super rare heroes. Maybe I should actually just start to, I was like, I thought it'd be cool to fight with my, common and uncommon heroes. But now I'm like, really I want to get the best stuff. So I'm like, maybe I should kind of revise my strategy here Because I know that eventually they're going to get harder to get. So everyone kind of has like their different thing that they're going to want to do, and we imagine there'll be people who just want to basically get the most efficient heroes, sell their assets or to build their heroes up, and eventually we want to add new systems as well that actually incentivize having maybe a lot of the same heroes or different incentives for having a party of various heroes, missions, that kind of thing. And so, we want to continue to create new features for how these heroes work and all that stuff.
Just to clarify, so will it also be the case that you will only be able to get epic equipment on rare monsters and not legendary, and that you'll have to go up to epic monsters to get legendary and then to legendary to get mythic equipment?
Can you say that again?
So is it going to be the case that you'll have to, if you want legendary equipment, you'll have to go to an epic monster, for instance, that it won't drop in a rare monster ever?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, if you want like legendary equipment, you're gonna have to have either an epic legendary or mythic hero.
Mhm. Interesting. And you'll have to fight a monster because those won't drop in the daily
Yeah, exactly.
fights.
Yeah, you're following it. Yeah.
No, I think this expansion is very interesting. You were very kind to send some packs to us so that we could try the game out, and yeah, I'm quite taken by it. I think it's a really interesting mechanic, and I'm also very curious now to hear more about the PvP mode, which is upcoming, and which you have a drop live for right now.
Yeah, I'd love to chat about it. So with the PvP hero cell, basically we have this thing coming out called arenas. So they're arena skirmish mode. And so my business partner and I, Josh, were talking about all kinds of different things we do. Like, could we do a mode where where the best heroes, the rarest heroes have the highest chance to win and all this stuff. And so we went back and forth and we're looking at what we liked and what we didn't like about other PvP games. And we're like, well, we like where your choice makes a difference in the match, and we also like that that you feel like you get a big win if you win. So we went into the system that we think is kind of reminiscent of some card games like Texas Hold'em, in that the way that you can pass or you can raise stakes, and what we've done is we have this arena where basically you can bring in your heroes in a party of 3. It's required. It has to be 3 heroes, and those 3 heroes then have I don't know if you can go to our Medium blog. I don't think I have it linked from the main website anywhere. It would be in our it's medium.com/@metasourcegames. Yeah, there we go. If you go to if you click
the news on the website.
if you go to Castles NFT gameplay, there we go. So here's an example of what an arena looks like. So it's got its own unique name. There's only going to be 100 of them. There's going to be very, very few of these, and we're only going to do a total of 80 and 40 in our first drop. So the heroes basically are going to get these random, semi-random, like each arena will have like these certain traits that they have that we might modify depending on balance. But here's an example of the Abandoned Reach arena. It has a plus 0% for the hero Luna, plus 8% for the hero Calder, and plus 1% a chance to win for Bancroft. So if you scroll down, what this looks like when you see the heroes all together, there'll be maybe just a little bit more. There's an image of what this looks like. Down one more. There you go. So we click on that image. So this is kind of a mock-up of what it looks like. So basically you have a player at the top and he has three heroes, and the bottom one has 3 heroes. Now the top guy decided to go with 3 Caldors. So basically he gets a plus 8% chance to win for each of these Caldors. And the bottom player went with a Luna Caldor and a Bancroft. So it's more of a, a general strategy at the bottom. But the top guy's getting a better chance to win because he happens to have, the hero that's getting the best chance to win. So when they go into the match, this is randomized, what the arena is, and this arena is owned by a player. And so that player actually gets basically part of the entry fee to get into the match. And there's 10% in entry fee. We looked at some other card games and things that have similar tournament rules and stuff like that. And we were like, this is commensurate with what a lot of other games like this do. And so the owner of that arena is going to get a small portion of the entry fee, and then we do as well, and another portion goes to what we call the Gladiators Guild, which is all of the people who own arenas, just in case for some reason you're having a bad day, no one uses your arena that day. Well, then you can get something, and so basically what happens is you have kind of a max 3-turn round where player one can player one, who's basically we call basically the one with the highest chance to win, becomes player one, and they can either basically pass and see how the match turns out, or they can use a potion which increases their chance to win. It also increases their stake. So when you're using a potion, you're not only using basically a potion to get your chance to win gets higher, but you also increase the amount of stakes that are in the match. So you're kind of like, I'm feeling, confident. I'm feeling even more confident that I'm willing to increase my stakes in the match. And then the other player can respond by either, matching with a potion or better potion, which is only 3, so there's a maximum. Or they can just match basically the stakes. So actually player 2, if they have someone using a boost potion against them, they can either match the stakes without a potion, meaning, I'm just going to keep my chance to win. Or they are going to use a potion, and that's going to increase the stakes as well to whatever the potion requires for the increase of that stake. And so, or you can just forfeit, or it can be like, this other guy, they're just, they're a little too confident for me. I'm just going to fold. So these are kind of the choices, and the maximum 3 turns. And you can only use one potion. So basically, once you use a potion, you're like, that's it. You're making your stand in the match. And I'm going to use a 5% potion, a 10% potion, or 20% potion. Once you make that, once you choose that, that's the only choice you get for the potion during the match. And so we think this is actually fairly simple. It might sound a little complicated, but if you've ever played like Texas Hold'em or something, I think kind of the turns make sense. The way that you can increase basically your stakes in the match makes a lot of sense. And there's a little bit of skill involved. There's some like strategy, like what are you going to do? What is your opponent going to do? And we actually come into the match in the very beginning. The stakes are actually weighted, and what that means is that if you have a higher chance to win, it means that the match is automatically taking what you basically set aside for the allocation for the match, and it's putting in more for you versus the lower player. So this is the incentive of the lower player to stay into the match, because if you come in and you have a very low chance to win and the stakes are basically equal, versus your chance, you're going to be like, screw this. Like, why should I even try against someone who has a higher chance to win and I'm putting in a lot? It's like, that doesn't make any sense. So since it's weighted, if you have 30% chance to win here, this player, if he stays in the match, he actually has a chance to win a higher multiple on his win versus what the other player. The other player, is commensurately having more put in versus his chance to win. So sure, he has a higher chance to win, player 1, but he's going to win less in proportion to player 2 than if player 2 wins. So I look forward to streaming these. I'm gonna be like, guys, I got like a 20% chance to win. You know what? I'm just gonna match this other guy who's like put in 20%. I got like a 10% chance to win, but let's stay in, guys. Like, let's stay in. And then, if I lose, I'll be like, okay, so I lost a little something. But if I win, I'm going to be like, hell yeah, baby. I took back like a 3 to 4 times multiple on my stakes because I stayed in this match. I only had 10%. Like, I think that's going to be really exciting to see. And I think people are going to, have fun on this dynamic of like, taking and the transparent risk versus reward. This was actually one of the number one things for me when we were building this. I was like, you have these games where like people have all these cards and they got legendary cards and they got mythic mythic things and all this other stuff. I'm just like, but like, what is the real risk versus the reward for you? Like, this is where most people get messed up. It's like where they can't actually figure out what the risk versus reward is where you lose them, because they're like, why should I go in and play a match and risk all my tokens, my game tokens or my wax tokens I've worked so hard to collect, and why should I risk those when I don't even know what the risk is? Like, why would I do that? So part of the point of the whole system we've designed is that right in front of you, the risk versus reward is very clear. You might not be exactly sure what your opponent's going to do, but when they act, well, then you do know what they're going to do. And so it really just, it makes the rules for risk versus reward way more transparent than anything else that I've seen. And this is what we really like about it.
It's a really, really interesting mechanic. Very curious to see it play out. A couple of things, though, while looking at this that I want to ask you. So the potions that you were just mentioning are one of the things that went live today or that are for sale in the drop. And one of the things that I noticed is that these won't necessarily be consumable. So they will have charges on them that you will then be able to recharge similarly to other mechanics in the game, right?
Yeah, correct. Yeah, so you have these potions and they won't get consumed, but they do have charges, so you can recharge them in the game mode using a small amount of wax and M-Source.
Interesting.
And so the idea there is that part of those fees go to the tournaments, also to the arena holders, and so kind of like, when you use a potion, you are in a way kind of like, sacrificing potential like 4% of your winnings. Like, let's say you use a 20% potion, you're sacrificing potential total 4% of your winnings to kind of get that extra boost. So again, there's risk versus reward that's very transparent. You can manage between your choices.
And along with that, there was another pack sale as well, which is the PvP Hero Pack. And I'm curious, what will players need to be able to play the PvP mode, and what do these PvP Hero Pack assets stand for? What are they used for?
Yeah, so right now, like the minimum common hero on our collection is like $30. So that might be too expensive for some people who just want to come in PvP. And we have players who might not actually be all that interested in dungeons. We think that's very possible. But we want people to play PvP, right? So the way we look at PvP is it's a different kind of lane. With dungeons, you have people who like heroes, who like customizing heroes, who like battling monsters, who like medieval fantasy worlds. But with PvP, we might have people who just want the rush of the win, and people are looking for that. So what we decided to do was make it very low barrier of entry for the PvP heroes, and that it only costs $3 to basically get one of these PvP hero packs, which makes each of the PvP heroes only $1. So basically, $3 to be able to have enough heroes to join into the matches, opposed to 90. So this way, we reduce the barrier of entry to get playing inside of the castle's PvP. And we do want to have other PvP modes later, and these characters, these PvP heroes will be usable for that as well. And since when you play with Dungeons PvP, whatever heroes that you have in the match will basically be taken up for like whatever 10 minutes it takes to complete a match. So if you want to run multiple matches at once, well, then you probably want to have multiple heroes.
I had a question for you about the matches. Do you get paired up randomly with other opponents, or can you enter a game code, for example, and challenge your friends?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. we're discussing having it so there is a room so you can actually choose who you're going to play against. And we think on a technical level, it makes sense in terms of just like smart contracts and blockchain and all that. We've been talking about we're going to have tournaments eventually, and we're kind of like, well, does it make sense to do with tournaments? Because what if you have like, someone who has tournament tickets and there's only going to be so many, you actually get tournament tickets when you points when you play, so you can get those for tournament tickets again to the tournament. Is it possible for someone to get into a match and only play themselves and give themselves wins? So we're still evaluating, that possibility, and so I don't know what the right answer is for that just yet. I'm more concerned about it with the tournaments because you're already paying a fee anyway. So if you go in and you basically play yourself to get tournament ticket points, you're always taking like a 10% hit on each side in order to even get those points. So it kind of doesn't make sense to fight yourself. In a tournament, there might be more incentive because you could actually get in those final two parts and then have account 1 and account 2 be the ones who made it to the end, and then just give it to yourself. So there's some concern there, but we're still kind of looking at it. I think we might have to do something a little bit different for the tournaments, and kind of find something else. But right now we're thinking, we want you to have rooms so you can kind of play who you want to play, or just have someone join that room and play against them.
Great. This is a great way to just already get going with this new feature that you're trying to introduce.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah, really, really curious about it, and a lot of questions to ask for sure. Something else that I wanted to know is how will the characters' rarity and equipment rarity weigh in on the battle? So what type of impact will that have, especially against these generic PvP heroes?
Yeah, for this PvP mode, the rarities don't matter. So they don't impact the gameplay. We just thought that was the most fair thing to do, the most accessible. Now we do want to have game modes and PvP modes where actually rarity does matter. It's just more time until we, build that up and we do something that works. This particular, this particular setup is all about risk versus reward. That you can actually look at your risk versus reward, and then you choose what you're willing to take. And now with a different system where it's more like, hey, so your mythic heroes have a better chance of winning or have perks that, the common heroes don't. That's kind of a different mode. That's kind of a different, that's more of a mode where, where the stakes aren't quite the same. And so we're still looking at that, like what that mode might be. We're talking about all kinds of different features like roadmap modes and fighting and defending keeps so we want to eventually have something for everyone. Like you have these risk versus reward PvP systems that are very clear and transparent, or that you have these other ones where you're like, I spent all this time, building up a mythic hero, so actually I should get the biggest benefits for playing this mode. So we want to have all those things.
I think that actually I'm getting a really strong vibe about this is that Castles is not just one game. Castles has multiple modes that will cater to different appetites, if you will. So if you want to do more of the land management, you could do that. But if you are a little bit more degen and want to do some more risky things, you have that risk. You have the PvP mode. But if you want to create the creatures and battle your monsters and stuff, you could do that too. So it seems like there's really something there for everybody.
Yeah, exactly, Zeus. Yeah. You make a great point of what we're doing, and the reason we do that is because we find that we're so young in this space right now. It is very hard to onboard users, especially during this bear market. It's just really difficult, and we watch the other projects and we kind of watch a lot of users bailing out of them, and so we work very hard to keep our users that we have and also create new reasons for new users to come and join us, and so we think by creating, basically like widening the base of different types of users, we actually do create, cross-pollination between the parts. We before we launched Dungeons, we were like, well, we need to really get a lot of volume into the game, because if we just continue to deepen what's already here, a lot of people, when they play these games, are like, did I get here early? Because I'm only going to play and buy these assets if I get here early. And so we're very cognizant of that, that a lot of people are like, oh, if I'm not early, I'm not going to play, I'm not going to buy the assets. And so we want to kind of flip that script there, that, that the game is always growing, there's always new people coming. And so what we did was we released the free-to-play mode, before we released Dungeons, was because we were like, that's what's going to bring in a lot of new players, people who haven't used NFT games before. They're going to come check it out. I do a live stream every day at 8 a.m., except for Sundays, and I do a live stream, and I basically, send out prizes for the free-to-play mode and some hero packs and land packs, and it's a great way to keep engagement, remind people to share the game and to share, castles. And it's all about like widening that base, because we're going to get to the point where we get mass adopted here on Wax and all the games here. I really believe it's been like the best blockchain for something like this. I think Ethereum's great if people are just trying to trade a lot of money or something. There's a lot of liquidity on Ethereum, but when it comes to gaming, like Wax is where it's at. It's where the users are at. Atomic Hub has done an excellent service, providing a great platform where we can come in and we have all these other collections here. We're able to sort through things, and you guys have been improving things over time for our users so that they can, sort through filters and stuff like that. Was really big help for our collection. And so, all this stuff is so new that really our job is really just keep bringing in the new users. And so it's another philosophy behind widening the base. And if we just keep making a deeper and deeper dungeon game, well, then all the people who are only looking for something new and fresh are never going to actually, come. So it's another strategy for continuing to widen the base. But we're one of those teams that likes to try to get it both ways. There are a lot of people who are like, oh, you can have either A or B. We're like, but what if you could have A and B? It might be hard to have A and B and C and D, and but I think the stronger you are, the more you can start to do that. But we're always about trying to like give our users the both worlds, both increasing user base and also new features.
Yeah. I do also want to touch upon what is coming to castles and to the dungeon expansion in particular in the future. I know that, as you've already mentioned, this is really just the tip of the iceberg. And yeah, I'm definitely curious to hear a little bit more about what is coming in the future and what else other game modes can users look forward to.
Yeah, well, I would say that, besides continuing to build up the user base, is that, we want to turn up the hype on the whole collection. We're still talking about those strategies, like how do we do that? There are some collections, like this is all going to sound theoretical because it kind of is, but there's some collections like Alien Worlds that really benefited from having their TLM token put on like the Binance, market exchange, and so we look at that, we're like, that seems pretty strong. So like, could we do something where we have a scarcity-based token, and how would we do that? How would it work? So it's all really just like on the drawing board right now, because if we did something like that, we want to make sure that that we have a very clear intent, a very clear goal of each mode and what we're trying to accomplish. With the dungeons, is very clear that we wanted to have a fun system for building up, customizing heroes, having this intangible value of building up a cool looking hero, and have it be fun and have the tokenomics make sense of like building up those heroes. So the intent was very clear for us. We think we've accomplished our goal, that it's a lot of fun. Our players are coming in all the time sharing the heroes they're building up and their strategies and what they're doing. And PvP, the intent is kind of have this whole, rush of victory. Like, yes, like I totally, beat this guy. The odds were, against me, or I totally bullied this guy because, I thought I could just use this 20% potion and it worked out. And, I think those high emotions, like, really work great for games. It's one of the reasons we play is, there's crushing defeat, which makes you just want to go back and have that great victory. It's ever played, any kind of game, I think, understands that loop, right? And so, but really, we do want to continue hyping up the collection, getting new users, and we're always kind of analyzing how that goes. We love to get people's feedback too on like what we think we could do. We get a million suggestions. We like getting suggestions in our Discord because maybe someone says something that helps us think outside the box just a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of exciting stuff coming, and a lot of exciting stuff here already for sure. I did just get a PvP hero pack from the drop, so let's see what heroes I get. And we do have some packs, some hero packs as well, and some equipment packs.
All right, cool.
To open up. So yeah, so these will be the heroes that you will be using to play in the PvP mode. In case you don't have 3 actual heroes, you will be able to use these instead. So I got a Luna,
I think you got
I got a Luna 3 variant and 2 Caldors. All right.
Nice.
So this will allow me to then play the PvP mode. And in case I do come into a arena which is Caldor favored, let's say, I will have an advantage because I have 2 Caldors if I go with this lineup.
Yeah, exactly. You're going to be hoping for Caldor having some having a nice bonus. That's what you're hoping for there.
Yeah, and being that the other hero that I have is a Luna, so it's either Luna or Caldor. If Bancroft comes across with big probabilities, I'm screwed pretty much.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you're not screwed. You just have to be mindful of your your risk versus reward and what that means.
Yeah, manage my leveraging. Yeah, I'll let Zeus share his.
All right. Okay, so let's share screen here, and we're going to open up. Okay, so let's go ahead. Can you all see my screen?
Yeah, I got it up. Yeah.
Awesome, perfect. So we're going to open up the Dungeons Rising Hero Pack, and let's see what we get. So this is going to, we just have to unpack it first.
Fingers crossed for an uncommon.
Yeah, fingers crossed for an uncommon, and let's see as the transaction loads up. Hopefully it doesn't take too long. Okay, great. Let's see. Moment of truth. What's it gonna be? Let's reveal, and then let's wait on this transaction to load.
With this, you can start auto battling monsters immediately and winning.
Okay. So I got a couple of things. So here, I'm gonna just go to my inventory, and we could just check out some of the things. So I got common Luna, and yeah. So the next things, we also got a little bit of equipment too. So we got the Caldor base, the C6. We've got here the Caldor neck equipment, and then also back equipment. So I think whenever we go over to, I think it should be Hero Builder. I don't think I actually got any equipment for Luna, but I did get some equipment for Caldor. So I may actually just have to scoop up something from that.
I also got a Luna. I was hoping you'd get something else so we could exchange.
Right, we could swap.
Yeah, unfortunately, Luna doesn't fit into Caldor's clothes, so.
I see. Yeah, I mean, it's all good. But okay, so I have a couple other packs. So the other thing I wanted to unpack was what the Dungeons Rising promo pack common. What can we expect in here? So this one is going to be, includes 2 total NFTs, 1 common NFT equipment for Dungeons Rising, an 80% chance for another equipment, or a 20% chance for a common hero.
Yeah.
So let's see what we get here.
You can still get a common hero so that you can
So we're
Say
hoping
it.
for a
Yeah, yeah,
Caldor.
let's see.
Let's go. Let's go.
I'm
Cowboys.
like crossing my fingers for a Caldor because I've got some equipment for him that I don't want to just sit in my inventory. You know, like the things in your closet that stay with the tags that you never get to wear.
I mean,
So let's see.
you could grind those hero fragments to craft.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay. I got a belt. And I got a little pouch for my Luna, which is perfect. So let's go see if we could go put on a pouch on her. And this would probably be.
You might need to refresh
Yes.
Oh yeah, yep.
because the blockchain's a little funny that way.
Yeah. Let's see. Pouch C4. And there goes her little pouch. So you could see there's nothing there. And now she has a pouch.
Yeah, and you can change the color. You can make it probably like red or something if you want. It's if you go to the 1, 2, 3, those are the colors.
On the bottom.
Colors before. So right now she has blue. Ooh, actually the brown looks pretty nice with her without her outfit on. I guess she's just with her rags.
Yeah.
The brown matches her rags.
Yeah.
It's great.
It's a common, so it's not supposed to have too many like bells and whistles, right? So it's like
perfect.
brown, slightly less brown or blue.
And so then the other thing that we have here to unpack was I picked up just one of the monster packs. But I guess what really I need to keep an eye on is going to be the monster tome, because that's what generates the packs, right?
Yeah, correct.
And opening this pack as well, you will want to see Luna monsters, because there's also the possibility of getting Caldor or Bancroft monsters. So
yeah,
Oh my
trading
goodness.
is designed into the system, right? Like it's designed that you don't always get exactly the thing that you want. Unless you're, vertically integrated and you have like, a bunch of different heroes of different rarities.
yeah, it's interesting that these mechanisms always stimulate trading and secondary market volume, even with the free to play mode, the power ups that are.
Okay, I don't think I didn't get
Oh no,
anybody from Luna.
No Luna,
But
no Luna monster NFTs. Sorry.
okay, so it does mean I need to go try to find another hero that I have a lot of equipment for. So, okay, this is how the addiction starts. You get things that you don't have, so you have to go back to the market to get the things so that you can use your assets. So, okay. Thanks for my new addiction here, Robert.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. My job here is done.
All right. We are already coming up to the hour. I don't want to take you for much longer. I do, though, as usual, want to give you the opportunity as well to, if there is anything that you do want to share or that you do want to draw people's attention towards, feel free to take the stage now and to hype up.
Well, I just want to acknowledge you, for having me on, and Zeus for having me, and holding the Creators Choice competition. It's nice to have your support and have stage to show our game off, and really do love what we do here with NFT gaming and this whole new thing. I've been wanting this for forever, being able to actually have assets, my gaming assets that I own, and so I feel like every day I wake up just really excited to come in and work and build the game and talk to the community, and just sometimes just controversy inside of our industry with FTX and all this other crazy stuff going on, but at the end of the day, like, I'm very excited and passionate about all the stuff that we're doing here. So it's great to have partners like you guys at Atomic Hub who have a great service and a great platform that allows us to have our collection on there and the tools that make this all possible. We use a lot of these tools in a lot of different ways to make our our game and our business work, and we appreciate it. So thank you.
It's our pleasure, and yeah, I mean, it's really rewarding to interact with the community that is filled with such passionate people and people that are clearly so invested in the space and everything that is happening within. As the winners of the most recent Creators' Choice competition, everyone will be able to look forward to Castle's NFT being featured on the carousel in our homepage next month. So definitely look forward to that. And again, huge congratulations on your win as well. As part of the prize for winning, we will also be giving out to you and to your collection 1,000 USD worth of credits on our new platform, Atomic Ads. Something that we're definitely very excited about. So yeah, I mean, thank you for participating. Congratulations on the win, and thank you for joining us and running us through all of the exciting updates and all of the exciting mechanics that have come to Castles since the last time we spoke. Yeah, excited to play the PvP mode and yeah, get more into it.
Thank you, Nuna.
Thank you, Robert. Yeah, just wanted to say thank you so much for talking with us and then walking us through the platform and the game, and then also thank you for the packs as well. But also, I just also wanted to give you some love for continuing to build. Your passion really shows through with everything. Just last time I think we talked not that long ago, the amount of development that has happened on the game is just really profound. So yeah, the passion shows through. Thank you for that.
Thank you, Zeus. Thank you. It's been great to share this time with you guys and chat and look at the game and yeah, I just love this part of showing it off and, and hearing the kind words of how far the game has come. And yeah, I mean, again, this is just early days for all this stuff. So I'm looking forward to a long time building relationships with Atomic Hub and continue to see how all our platforms and games and everything and community progresses. It's going to be really exciting. So thank you.
And yeah, if you want to get started in Castles NFTs, you can check out their website at castlesnft.io or their NFTs at Atomic Hub as well. So yeah, I think that's it.
All right, awesome. Thank you guys. Thank you for your time and chat with you guys soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us.